The ocean was still that night. So still it felt like the world had forgotten how to breathe. Inside the submersible Nereid, soft blue lights traced trembling faces reflected in glass. Lyra Voss watched the sonar bloom like a heartbeat, slow and deliberate, as the signal painted something vast below. Captain Ren Adarin steadied the controls, his voice barely above a whisper. Depth reading: 21,000. Saeed Kwan adjusted the cameras, their lenses catching faint glimmers of light far beneath, like stars drowned into black water. Ilara Quinn leaned close to her headset, listening to the hum of the deep, her eyes distant, as if she could hear memory itself. Then, through the static, the cameras flickered. Towers. Dozens, standing tall beneath the pressure, glowing faintly gold. No motion, no life, just silence, and streets perfectly intact. Lyra's breath caught as she whispered, "How can a city sleep so long and not die?" And in the hush, something replied, though no one spoke. What if time remembered what we tried to forget? They hovered above the gate, engines whispering like breath through glass. Lyra's fingers brushed over the monitor as if touching the stone through its image. No algae growth, she murmured. No decay. Ren frowned. Impossible. Down here everything rots. Ilara replayed a faint echo from her headset, 5 notes repeating like a lullaby underwater. The city sings, she whispered. Said swallowed hard, adjusting his focus. In the glow, carvings appeared, figures with outstretched arms, offering light to the depths. Maybe it's not ruins, Lyra said quietly. Maybe it's waiting. They guided the sub forward. A current pushed back, soft but deliberate. The gate parted as if sensing them. Dust swirled upward, then cleared. Streets unfolded in the beam of their lights, avenues of glass, arches like ribs of forgotten giants. Saeed whispered, "No coral growth here either." Ren's voice was low. "Something keeps it clean." Lyra's pulse quickened. Or someone. Ilara glanced at her monitor. The sound. It's closer now. In the silence that followed, a faint vibration trembled through the hull, steady and slow, as though the city itself had begun to breathe. The deeper they went, the stranger it became. Statues lined the pathways, tall, serene, untouched. Some bore faces eerily familiar. "Lyra," Saeed said quietly. "This one looks like you." She froze. The statue's eyes, faintly luminous, seemed to follow her. Ren turned sharply. "Let's not get poetic." But Ilara's voice quivered. "It's singing again." The sub-lights dimmed, and for an instant the towers flickered with their own pulse of light, like heartbeat answering heartbeat. They anchored near the city's heart, a plaza surrounded by silver spires. A perfect circle of light rippled across the floor, pulsing with rhythm. "It's responding to us," Lyra murmured. "Or recording us," Ren muttered. Saeed's camera caught something. Shapes moving behind the spires, blurred and quick. Ilara's headset crackled with whispers, her name faintly echoing through static. Then, silence. The light beneath them dimmed, leaving only the trembling reflection of their faces. "Ren," Lyra whispered. "Did you turn the engines off?" He hadn't. The light in the plaza dimmed until it felt like night within night. A low tremor rippled through the floor. Steady, patient, alive. Its energy. Lyra whispered, her voice shaking. "No, it's rhythm," Ilara corrected softly, eyes half closed as if listening through her bones. Ren tapped the gauges. Every reading flickered uselessly. "We're blind," he muttered. Saeed checked his feed. The city's glow pulsed in perfect sync with the sound. For a moment, they all felt it. A soft throb behind the ribs, echoing their own heartbeats. It's matching us, Lyra breathed. The silence that followed wasn't empty. It was expectant, like the city itself was waiting for them to answer. Ren finally spoke, voice tight. We surface. Now. But Lyra shook her head, eyes on the readings. No. Look, there's a chamber beneath this plaza, on the sonar. An opening bloomed like a pupil widening. Saeed's camera zoomed into the glow, capturing rippling silver threads floating upward like smoke underwater. That's air, he whispered. No bubbles, no movement. Alara pressed her headset closer. It's singing again, not through water, through us. Ren exhaled sharply, but his hand hesitated over the throttle. The city's hum deepened, drawing them closer. Lyra whispered, maybe we weren't the first to find this place. Maybe it's been waiting for someone to listen. As they descended toward the fissure, a pressure wave rocked the sub. Alarms flared, glass creaked, and Ren cursed softly. We're not alone down here, he said. Lyra steadied herself, staring into the swirl below. Figures. No, reflections, moved inside the light. Saeed's camera feed blurred, then focused again, showing shapes like silhouettes drifting past the towers. That's not us, he whispered. Alara's voice broke the quiet, soft as a prayer. It's memory. The city is remembering. For a heartbeat, each of them saw something different in the light. Faces, gestures, fragments of a vanished life, and then it was gone. They entered the chamber. It opened beneath them like a cathedral built by tides, columns of pearl and glass, ceiling vanishing into blue haze. The hum was stronger here, resonant enough to make the metal hull vibrate. These aren't ruins, Lyra whispered. They're preserved. Ren's jaw tightened. By what? No one answered. The floor below glowed faintly, a circular pattern of runes pulsing in rhythm with their breath. Alara pressed a hand to her chest. It's sensing with us, she murmured. It knows we're here. Saeed's voice trembled. Then what happens when it finishes listening? Then the hum stopped. Not faded, stopped, as if a hand had covered the mouth of the world. Every sound vanished, but the soft clicking of their own hearts. Ren, Lyra said, barely a whisper. A shape emerged from the center of the chamber, fluid, luminous, shifting like liquid glass. It wasn't human, but it moved with purpose, folding and unfolding like thought made visible. Cameras crackled, static flaring white across the screens. Alara gasped. It's not light. It's looking back. For the first time, the city wasn't silent. It was aware. The shape of light hovered before them, shifting like breath. Lyra's voice trembled. It's not a structure. It's a projection. The glow folded in on itself, forming something that resembled a face, though it never stayed still long enough to be sure. Alara's headset filled with tones, soft and harmonic, as if language had forgotten consonants. It's talking, she whispered. Ren shook his head. We're hearing echoes. Saeed's screen fluttered with symbols, each pulse leaving behind trails of light. It's communicating in patterns, he murmured. The brightness dimmed, focusing on Lyra. A single vibration passed through the sub, almost tender. And then, faintly, from nowhere and everywhere at once, came words they couldn't fully understand but somehow felt. Welcome back. It's recognizing something in our signals, Lyra said, staring at the rhythmic flashes. The patterns mirrored the sonar pings they'd sent earlier, but reversed, inverted like a reflection in deep water. It's answering, Alara breathed. Saeed zoomed in on the light's movement. It's copying your pulse rate, he said to her. The chamber began to vibrate softly, dust spiraling up from the floor in hypnotic motion. Ren's hand hovered over the controls. If it can read us, it can stop us. But none of them moved. The light brightened, splitting into hundreds of threads that wove through the chamber like veins of gold. Lyra whispered, It's showing us how it remembers. The images appeared not as pictures, but as feelings, memories blooming inside them. A city alive with music and motion. People walking through halls of liquid glass, then floodwaters, rising slow as sleep, covering everything in shimmering silence. It's not ruins, Lyra whispered. It's a memory trapped in time. Alara pressed her hands to her temples. They sang to preserve themselves. The song holds them, Said gasped, pointing at the monitor. In its light, faint human figures moved through the plaza again. Transparent, graceful, unending. Ren's voice shook. They're still here. The chamber pulsed, acknowledging his words as if in mourning. The light shifted again, forming a ring around the sub. Lyra's screen flashed with symbols, runes identical to those carved on the city gate. It's marking us, she whispered. For what? Ren asked. To remember, Alara replied. The hum deepened, filling every space, pressing against their lungs. The sub's lights dimmed until only the entity glowed, surrounding them in warmth. They didn't die, Said said softly. They transformed. The chamber pulsed once more, then projected an image, Lyra's own face, traced in gold, reflected beside the statue from before. The realization hit them like a wave. The city didn't want to be found. It wanted to be continued. A silence fell that was deeper than water. The light around them dimmed to a faint shimmer. It's finished, Ren murmured. Lyra shook her head. No. Lyra shook her head. It's beginning something. Ilara's headset hissed softly, and through the static came their own voices, recorded, reversed, overlapping with the city's song. It's merging data, Said said, barely breathing. It's merging us. The chamber began to pulse again, this time in perfect rhythm with their heartbeats. The walls of the city shimmered, as if waking from a dream. Lyra touched the glass gently. It's remembering us now, she whispered. Outside, the towers glowed like sunrise beneath the sea. The city pulsed softly beneath them, the rhythm now familiar, like a second heartbeat shared between strangers. Lyra's reflection wavered in the glass, her eyes glowing faintly with the same gold that filled the chamber. It's adapting, she whispered, or learning. Said watched numbers scroll endlessly across his monitors, none of which he could explain. Our systems are sensing with something external, he said. Ren's hands hovered over the controls, torn between wonder and fear. Can we still leave? He asked quietly. Alara, her eyes closed, murmured. It's not holding us. It's asking us to stay. The hum deepened, low, resonant, like the ocean exhaling through stone. Outside, the towers shimmered, and for an instant, they looked alive. Alara began to hum softly. The melody matched the city's pulse exactly, each note expanding into the chamber beyond the glass. It's echoing you, Lyra said, eyes wide. The golden light flared, synchronizing with Alara's voice. She's controlling it, Said whispered. But Alara shook her head. No, it's remembering through me. Ren reached out, grabbing her shoulder. Stop. Whatever this is, it's not safe. The sound cut suddenly, leaving only their breathing. Then, on the console, new symbols appeared. Runes forming words none of them had taught it. One of you belongs here. Silence pressed down, heavy and cold. Lyra met Ren's eyes. It's her, she said softly. Ilara opened her eyes. They shimmered faintly with gold. I can feel them, she whispered. They're not gone. They're waiting behind the sound. The entity appeared again. Softer now, like liquid thought forming around her. Lyra reached for her. Alara, stay with us. I am, she replied. Just not all here. Ren muttered under his breath. We end this, now. He turned to the console, but the controls no longer obeyed. The sub hovered motionless, anchored by unseen forces. Saeed stared at his screen. "It's rewriting our system protocols." Lyra looked up, her voice trembling. "It's rewriting us." The hum rose, harmonizing with Ilara's heartbeat, until they could no longer tell them apart. The walls of the chamber began to move. Not crumble, not collapse, but shift, like breathing stone. Columns twisted open, revealing vast corridors that stretched into endless blue light. "It's opening itself to us," Lyra said. "Or consuming us," Ren replied. Ilara stepped closer to the glass. "It's showing the way." For a heartbeat, they all saw it. A vision of the city alive again, filled with light, voices, laughter. Saeed's camera trembled in his hands. "It's giving us their memory to keep," he said quietly. Lyra's voice softened. "Maybe that's what survival means down here." The city pulsed once more, a low, mournful note, like the ocean remembering a name. Then came the whisper, not in sound, but in thought. It moved through them, gentle and vast. "To remember, one must stay." The light dimmed to a soft glow, and Ilara's expression softened into calm resolve. "It wants me to remain," she said. "It needs a voice to keep the rhythm alive." Lyra shook her head, eyes wet. "You can't." Ilara smiled faintly. "I already am." Ren tried to start the engines. The hum resisted. "She's part of it now," Saeed murmured. Ilara turned once more, placing her palm against the glass. "Tell them." The city still breathes. Her outline shimmered, and the golden light swallowed her gently. The hum ceased. The city slept. Again, the golden light faded until only darkness remained. Silence hung thick, heavy as the sea itself. "Ilara," Lyra whispered into the stillness. No reply. Just the faint echo of her own voice in the calm. Ren hit the controls again and again. Engines are locked. Saeed's fingers trembled over his screens. All readings are changing, like the system's rewriting itself around her signature. The hum had stopped, yet a softer vibration lingered. Gentle, human, rhythmic. It was her heartbeat, or what the city remembered of it. Lyra pressed her palm against the glass where Ilara had stood moments before. "She's still here," she murmured. The city pulsed faintly in response. One last heartbeat from the deep. Hours passed, or minutes. Time had lost its anchor. Finally, Ren managed to coax life from the engines. The Nereid rose slowly, its hull creaking with protest. Lyra stared at the sonar, where the city below grew smaller with each passing second. "We're leaving her," she whispered. "She chose it," Ren said, though his voice cracked around the word. Saeed kept the camera rolling, but the feed distorted, static laced with faint notes of Ilara's song. "It's transmitting," he said. "To what?" Lyra asked softly. He swallowed hard. "To us." As they ascended, the light below dimmed, then vanished completely, like a dream slipping beneath consciousness. Halfway to the surface, the Nereid systems flickered. The golden symbols appeared again, faint on the screens, then faded like candlelight. Ren frowned. Residual interference? Lyra shook her head slowly. "No, she's saying goodbye?" The comm crackled, soft static rising into faint music. Ilara's voice, distant but unmistakable, drifted through. "The sea keeps what it loves." Lyra's throat tightened. "Ilara?" But there was no answer, only the rhythmic hum that once filled the city, now echoing through their own equipment, through their veins, through memory itself. The surface came suddenly. A burst of sunlight after endless blue. The Nereid broke through with a groan, waves lapping softly against its hull. Lyra shielded her eyes as she looked at the horizon. "We made it," Ren said, voice hollow. Saeed checked his footage. Hours of recording, yet none showed the city. Every frame after their descent was blank, only faint, golden dust moving in dark water. It erased itself, he whispered. Lyra smiled faintly. No. It became something else. As the sun rose higher, the sea shimmered with impossible hues, light bending like liquid glass, the same color that had filled the city below. That night, anchored in still waters, Lyra sat alone in the observation dome. The ocean stretched beneath her, vast, silent, alive. A faint vibration hummed through the glass. She placed her hand against it. "Elara," she whispered. From the depths came a single tone, pure and steady, the same note that had begun their descent. It was the city, still singing through her. Saeed joined her quietly, his voice low. "We never found people," he said. "No," Lyra replied, eyes glimmering with starlight. "Because they became the song." The ocean shimmered faintly beneath them, and for a moment the world seemed to breathe. Somewhere below, the city waited, not sleeping, but listening. Weeks passed since the Nereid returned to the surface, yet the ocean never looked the same. The water shimmered differently at dawn, like light remembered from somewhere deeper. Lyra stood on the deck of the research vessel Astraea, eyes on the horizon, hearing echoes where there should have been silence. Ren hadn't spoken much since their return, and Saeed's camera, once filled with footage, now displayed only faint golden static. "She's still with us," Lyra whispered. Ren didn't answer. Somewhere beneath the waves, a soft hum pulsed. Steady, familiar. The world above hadn't noticed, but the sea had changed its song. At night, Lyra dreamed in echoes. Towers rising from water, voices calling her name in soft, harmonic chords. When she woke, the sound lingered, a hum that made the walls of her cabin tremble. She checked her pulse. It matched the rhythm. Saeed entered quietly, holding his camera. "It's recording again," he said. On the tiny screen, light swirled in patterns. Familiar, fluid, alive. "It's her," Lyra breathed. The hum deepened, resonating through the floorboards. "She's speaking through us." Outside, the ocean shimmered brighter, moonlight catching on invisible waves of gold. Ren's voice echoed from above deck. "You hear that too?" The crew anchored near an uninhabited island for repairs. At dusk, Ren stood on the beach, listening to waves that seemed to breathe in rhythm. "The current's changed," he muttered. Lyra joined him, sand cool beneath her bare feet. "It's spreading," she said softly. "The frequency." Saeed recorded the shoreline, his camera lens catching faint lights beneath the surf, tiny orbs rising, floating, bursting like underwater stars. "We brought it back," he whispered. Ren turned sharply. "No, turned back." It followed us. The horizon darkened, but the sea began to glow, subtle, steady, like a heart beneath the surface. The next morning, the water was alive. Schools of fish shimmered gold. Coral beneath the boat glowed faintly, and every sonar reading danced in perfect harmony. "It's not infection," Lyra said, voice trembling. "It's memory transmission." Saeed nodded slowly. "It's remapping the ecosystem." Ren frowned. "You're saying the seas, remembering, or becoming aware," Lyra whispered. She closed her eyes, listening to the hum deep beneath the waves. It sounded like Alara's laugh, soft, distant, and full of light. "She's teaching it to live again," she murmured. Ren's gaze hardened, but even he couldn't deny the warmth that lingered in the air. That night, as stars shimmered above, and the sea mirrored their glow, a voice came through the calm. Soft, melodic, unmistakable. "Lyra," it whispered. The others froze. He breathed. Static filled the air. Then harmonies rose, weaving through the silence like wind through glass. The city wakes. The voice said faintly. It remembers you. Lyra's throat tightened. What do we do? The reply came like a sigh from the deep. Listen. The hum returned, spreading through the water, the metal, the air, filling the night with a gentle, endless song. By dawn, the world had changed. Every coastline shimmered faintly at its edges, tides glowing like veins beneath the skin of the earth. Reports spread across the radio, strange harmonies rising from the sea, a melody people could feel more than hear. Lyra watched from the deck, the horizon wrapped in gold. It's everywhere now, Saeed murmured. Ren stood silent, scanning the distance through salt-streaked glass. Maybe this is how a planet dreams, Lyra said softly. The hum returned, not menacing, not gentle, simply alive. It wasn't the ocean singing anymore. It was everything. Lyra stood at the bow, eyes closed, listening to the song that now lived inside her chest. It's like breathing through water, she whispered. Ren frowned. And if it doesn't stop, she smiled faintly, then maybe we don't either. The hum deepened, no longer confined to the sea. The clouds above seemed to shimmer, birds tracing patterns that mirrored the old ruins of the city. Saeed replayed one of his recordings. No sound came through, only light pulsing in time with their heartbeats. It's rewriting us again, he murmured. Lyra turned to him, her eyes soft and distant. No, she said, it's remembering through us. By midday, the hum spread across the globe. Underwater microphones detected melodies near every trench. Coral began to glow, currents carried light instead of salt, and whales sang in chords never heard before. On deck, Saeed lowered his camera slowly. We're broadcasting it, he said. Ren looked at Lyra. It started with her. She shook her head. No, it started with them. The city had awakened not to call them home, but to remind the world that it was alive. The air shimmered faintly, and for the first time, they felt no separation between sky, sea, and self. It was all one slow, eternal breath. That night, the sea sang again. But this time, the world answered. Across ports and shores, people reported hearing faint harmonies in the wind. Lyra sat in her cabin, the recording playing softly. Do you hear it? She whispered. Ren entered, carrying a small communicator. It's not just here, he said. Every frequency is resonating. Saeed's voice came from the intercom, calm, reverent. We've become part of the memory. Lyra smiled faintly. No, part of its voice. The ocean outside glowed brighter, reflecting constellations no map had ever drawn. Before dawn, Lyra returned to the deck. The ocean stretched quiet and endless, the stars fading into light. She placed her hand against the railing, feeling a pulse beneath the metal, a heartbeat older than the world. Ilara, she whispered. What happens now? The answer came not in words, but in warmth that spread through her chest, filling the air with music too soft to hear but impossible not to feel. The first sunlight touched the sea, and for a moment, everything shimmered gold. The sky, the ship, the water, her eyes. Maybe, she said softly. This is what forever sounds like.